said, hey, give me a call. I was on a 3.5-hour drive home, so I was bored. I had my headset in, called another friend. Meantime, James called me back I thought it was James. It was his phone, left a message, and I continued my call. And when I hung up, I picked up the message, and it was his aunt. And his aunt said she had James's phone and to call her, and she could tell me everything that happened. So I called her back, and she told me everything that happened. She was at the beach with James. James had gotten a call from Mario, the guy that he had dated after me. They were already broken up at this point too. They had been broken up for about a year, I think a year or two. So, but they got in an argument, and James said to his aunt, hey, today's a good day to go to the beach and do that spiritual cleansing that we've been talking about. Why don't we go do that? So they went to Honeymoon Island in Florida. And when they were at the beach, they were doing a spiritual cleansing. James was emotional. Some Karen on shore evidently called 911, and Joe Tactic, Officer Tactic, I'll bring up a photo of him. He went over on his ATV to the edge of the shore, called James's aunt out of the water and said, what's going on? James's aunt said, he got some upsetting news from an ex. He's doing a spiritual cleansing. James was breaking no laws. That's really important to keep in mind. James was not breaking any laws. He was exercising his First Amendment right, his freedom of speech, his freedom of religion. He was out in the water, not harming anybody, not harming the wildlife, not harming anybody or anything. The Department of Environmental Protection Officer, Joseph Tactic, who was on duty that day, said to James's aunt after James's aunt said about his ex-boyfriend letting the officer know that he was gay, he said, tell him to get out of the water. I want to talk to him. I mean, my question's like, I want to know why. Why did he need to talk with James? Was he just trying to flex his masculinity, trying to tell the gay man what to do, trying to be authoritarian? Like, what was his deal? You know, I'd really love to know that. But regardless, James's aunt went out into the water, tapped James on the shoulder. This is according to her. She told me the story that day. She tapped James on the shoulder and said, honey, you got to get out of the water. According to her, James said, no, bitch, I'm going to do this on my own, whether you're going to help me or not. And she said, and Joe, he didn't even mean it aggressively. Like, he called me bitch like a term of endearment. And in the gay community, we do that sometimes. It's just a thing. Whether you get it or not, I don't care. He said that, and she said, and you know how when people say no, they just put up their hand like a stop motion? She goes, Joe, that's all he did. He just said no and just put up his hand. And she goes, before I knew it, the officer was in the water, had one hand behind his back in a handcuff, and was shoving his head underwater. James was using his other hand to push it against the ocean floor, and the officer was demanding, give me your hand, give me your hand. And James was saying, I can't give you my hand, you're drowning me. The officer was banging his head against the sharp rocks. She said that when he lifted his head up, there was blood everywhere. The officer was beating him. All she could think about was that there was going to be sharks. So she tried to scare the officer by saying, hey, you better get out of the water. She just wanted him out of the water at that point because she was scared of the sharks. So she said, his former partner just got diagnosed with AIDS. You better get out of the water. She said the cop stopped, looked at his fist, which was all cut up. He looked at all the blood around him. She said he must have thought it was too late because the beatings got worse. He pummeled him to the point where it was even described in the court papers as eruptions of blood coming from his mouth. They dragged him up on shore, shoved him down on the ground, salt water washing over him. He couldn't breathe. He was choking on his own fluids and the ocean water. And he continued to beat him. And you'll hear in the video I'm about to play here shortly, you'll hear more details. This story that I'm about to play, this was 3 years ago. I did an interview with the only person that tried to save James's life. Again, if you guys don't mind, tap the screen, share it out to as many people as you can. I'm gonna play this now, unless anybody has any other questions. Honeymoon Island is notorious for sharks. Yes, it is. I mean, it's the Gulf of Mexico, and that area especially it's a peninsula. It's very well known for sharks. So, yeah, I'm gonna play this again. There's a trigger warning. I'm gonna take this screenshot off, and I just want everybody to realize that there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be graphic images, and there's going to be graphic images and video. So now, if you're inviting everybody, please let them know. Give them a trigger warning if you're inviting them. And I don't know, is there any way to put, let me just see if there's any way to put a sticker on this, because that might help too to keep it up. I think there is. I think there's a way to put a sticker. Let me see if I could find one that says trigger warning. Yeah, here we go. Hold on. This way people will know when they come in. Trigger warning. Okay. There we go. Oh, it says the emoji is not available. All right, there we go. Trigger warning. Right there. All right. All right, is everybody sharing out, tapping? I'm gonna.
Yeah, we see the trigger warning.
Oh, you don't see it right there?
No, we do see it. It's there.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. I guess I should probably leave it. I don't know where, but right there. Right there is good. All right.
Start to finish, just in your own words.
Can you guys hear this okay?
Okay, so my girlfriend and I went out to Honeymoon Island that morning. It was early in spring, nice beautiful morning. We probably got there around, I would say 9 o'clock or so, 9, 10 o'clock. Early in the morning, not a big crowd yet. Set up on the beach, sat down in our chairs, and shortly after we got there, we noticed a park ranger, a young guy going by in his
I don't know if I can show that.
park ranger outfit, and
I might have to show the camera aside because of those pew-pews.
I said, he's got the dream job, a young cop like that out here on spring break. Beautiful day, cruising the beach on his four-wheeler. And we laughed and just continued just hanging out, enjoying the day. I